What is going on, guys? The Inside the Blue podcast, and today we are breaking down the Giants against the Commanders Week 1. We are back with these previews. All the weeks are going to be breaking down, and this week the Giants are taking on the Washington Commanders, and this is a game that I have circled for a long time because I think the Giants have a good chance at beating the Commanders this season. I think there's a lot of things that I like that I don't think the Commanders have, and then there's obviously vice versa with, how are we going to be able to defend Terry McLaurin? How are we going to be able to defend Jaden Daniels and his ability to rush as a passer? He's a great quarterback. He is definitely in my top 6, in my opinion. Definitely a top 10 quarterback that the Giants are going up against. And I'm excited for this matchup because it's two teams that, honestly, didn't really have much hype a few seasons ago. And now, yes, the Commanders had a great run. They went all the way to the NFC Championship, and the Giants have been not good, but a lot of talk have been about the Giants this upcoming season with the Abdul Carter pick, Brian Dable. What is his team going to look like this season? Of course, Russell Wilson being the QB1, Jackson Dart hype in preseason, and a bunch of other stuff of how good this pass rush can potentially be in the NFL. And I agree. I think the Giants have a good team overall, but like I said, this schedule is not nice at all to the New York Giants, and they're going to have some scrappy wins. I mean, this is a game that could be a very scrappy win if they are able to win against the Commanders, but I do think it is a winnable game, and that is the big thing that I take away from this, is that this is a game that you have to watch, and this is a playoff team that you're going against, a team that has playoff aspirations, and, if you are able to beat them, I think teams are going to take the Giants a little bit more seriously if they are able to win. But if the Giants get blown out, then I think we know how this season might go, because last season we know how that went, previous season. But let's get at the first thing. We don't have Daniel Jones anymore. That is the first thing that I have written down, is that Daniel Jones is not starting week 1. He is on the Indianapolis Colts, starting week 1 for them against the Miami Dolphins. And if you want, if you want to see who I picked in that game, leave a like. But obviously check out our recent video. Leave a like on this video as well. And subscribe. But let's get back into this. Daniel Jones, we know the bad quarterback play that Daniel Jones had for the New York Giants. And actually, there was a world that, you could blame Malik Neighbors more than Daniel Jones in that week 2 last season. But regardless, Malik Neighbors somehow had a great season with Daniel Jones. And that just shows how good of a player Malik Neighbors is. So no matter the quarterback, he is going to play phenomenal. And now you have Russell Wilson. I think Malik Neighbors is going to have a superstar year once again. But no more Daniel Jones, no more iffiness, no more holding on to the football as much. The only thing that you could appreciate Daniel Jones for is that he got you a playoff win in 2022. But now we're in 2025. Another thing, too, is that I feel really good about this team, like I mentioned before, is a defensive line, right? That starts with Dexter Lawrence, then you have Abdul Carter on one side, Kayvon Thibodeau and Brian Burns, and then I really like our linebackers too. I don't think a lot of people like the season that Bobby Okereke had last season, but I still view him as a top linebacker in the NFL. Micah McFadden is an underrated player in my opinion, one of the more underrated players on the team, but he does have to fix some of his tackling issues because sometimes that does get away from him. So I will say that about him. One of the big moves that the Washington Commanders made, not only getting Deebo Samuel to help out their wide receiver core, and I'll have my take on Deebo Samuel in a moment, but they got Lamoureux Tunsil from the Texans, gave up a few picks. He's a big-time player. He's a big move for them, 31 years of age. He's had some good seasons overall in Texas, Texans, and the other teams he's played for. One of the big things that I saw is that he had 19 penalties last season. I see that as a very good thing for the Giants. If they were able to force Lamoureux Tunsil to get into penalty trouble, then we could keep attacking him. We can keep attacking that side. I do want Shane Bowen to blitz this team a lot. I do want that, but you do have to have a nice spy on Jaden Daniels, because if he notices blitz right away, he is going to run very quickly. He had some decent games as well, rushing-wise, against the New York Giants. But I think we are able to draw some penalties, and I hope so. I really hope this defensive front just causes absolute havoc on all the teams they play, and that's going to be their identity, is the defensive line. It's not necessarily going to go through the offense. They're going to win games at the line of scrimmage, and I'm very excited to see what those players I named are going to have. I mean, I think the one that I am most looking forward to is Abdul Carter. I do think that they gave a high pick on him. And then obviously I know what I'm getting out of Brian Burns and Dexter Lawrence. And then Kayvon, what type of season is Kayvon Thibodeau going to have? Is he going to stay healthy? Is he going to be good? So we'll see that as well. Another thing, they were able to re-sign Terry McLaurin. There were some contract issues if he was even going to play week 1. He's in for week 1, but I'm not, honestly, I'm not too concerned about this. I mean, I look at his 2 weeks against us. In week 2, he had 6 receptions for only 22 yards. And then his week 9 performance at MetLife, 2 receptions, 19 yards, but he did have 2 touchdowns. So the Giants know how to lock down Terry McLaurin, and I do think they're going to have a great game against him this upcoming Sunday. They just acquired Paulson Adebo in free agency, and obviously Javon Holland, the ball hawk that he is. So, I mean, if they're able to contain, Terry McLaurin, I'm not, too concerned about it. And then you have to worry about the running game with all their running backs. And then Deebo Samuel, I'm not very high on. Honestly, when I saw that trade, it didn't really move the needle in my opinion. I don't think he's that good anymore. He's definitely not the player he once was in San Francisco. But, I do think if they are able to lock down the number 1 target of this offense with Terry McLaurin, I do think their chances of winning this football game raise for sure. Like I said, the additions of Javon Holland, even Chauncey Golston, I think could be a good impact. Obviously, Darius Alexander, we'll see what he is, but he's very low on the depth chart right now. But I'm excited to see what all of the young talent this team brings to the team for week 1. Jaden Daniels against the New York Giants is another thing that I wrote down. I mean, listen, this guy's a great quarterback, but, you look at the other games he had, it definitely wasn't the game against the New York Giants. The first game, he didn't have any touchdowns. The entire team didn't have any touchdowns. They had 7 field goals, and they won that game 21-18 on a last-second field goal to beat the Giants. The Giants kind of beat themselves as well in that last attempt for the Commanders to score. They let Jaden Daniels run everywhere, weren't containing him well, and just not good organized football. And that is what the Giants need to do this year, is play organized football, and that's how you're going to win some football games. But 23 of 29, 226 passing yards, and 44 rushing yards was the stat line for week 2. And then 15 of 22, 209 passing yards, did throw for 2 touchdowns, and 35 rushing yards in week 9. I believe those 2 touchdowns were to Terry McLaurin, because he did have 2 touchdowns in week 9. So you got to watch out for those 2 guys, because they're a deadly duo when they are on the same page. And Jaden Daniels definitely loves to have Terry McLaurin back on his team for the next 3 seasons. But listen, man, you lose a game 21-18 with Daniel Jones in that team, and then you lose 27-22 at MetLife. I mean, those are 2, 1-score games. You score a touchdown, you win that football game in week 9. If you limit the field goals and limit the punts, I mean, this is a team. The Washington Commanders are a team that did not punt at all in week 2. I mean, that is mind-boggling, but this defense is much better this season with all the additions they made. They've invested a lot of money in this defense. I mean, so you got to hope they're a top 10, maybe top 5 defense in all of NFL. I mean, if they're a top 5 defense, you spent your money well this offseason for Joe Shane. Another thing, like I kind of just stated, is why you should believe in this team to win week 1. I mean, the Commanders didn't punt at all. I think I'd make a pretty good bet that they're going to punt in week 1. And also, only field goals, right? Your red zone defense was fantastic. And like I said, you lose the second game by 5, and now you don't have Daniel Jones anymore. I think this offense is going to be a lot more explosive with Russell Wilson, a lot more deep throwing. He is one of the better quarterbacks still in the league at throwing the football downfield and getting the ball out quickly. But, I'm excited for this offense with Russell Wilson and see what they do, because they were pretty fun to watch in preseason, but that's preseason. Now we got the real-time football. This running back room, I mean, it starts with Tyrone Tracy. There was a lot of buzz about Cam Scatterby potentially winning the RB1 role down the line of the season. I don't see that. I see Tyrone Tracy as your 1A. I said, I think in the preview of the offseason that Cam Scatterby could be a potential 1B. But I see Tyrone Tracy as the lead back for the entire season. Right now, Cam Scatterby is the RB3 on the depth chart behind Devin Singletary and obviously Tyrone Tracy. But Cam Scatterby is an explosive guy. He's a power back. I mean, this guy can run through guys. He can score touchdowns. He's got a lot of energy to his game, and that's what I do like about Cam Scatterby a lot. But I got to talk about Malik Neighbors. How I said this is the guy that could win Offensive Player of the Year this year. He can win, a lot of battles downfield against very good cornerbacks. He can have 1,500 yards. Honestly, I say that with 100 catches. He is going to get the ball a lot. I mean, I'm talking at least 5 receptions a game, hopefully. But he is your motor, right? He is the guy that is going to win you football games for the offense and win you first downs. And when they made the pick, I mean, the explosiveness that this guy has coming out of his step. And you could play him anywhere. You could put him in the slot. You could run drag routes. You could run out routes. You could beat him down the field. He can catch over players. He could score multiple touchdowns. He's a top wide receiver in the NFL. And for fantasy football-wise, for any of you guys watching, highly recommend you draft Malik Neighbors. I get there's an issue with his toe and also had a bit of a back issue, but I think he's full go and he's going to be ready for week 1 against his buddy LSU quarterback Jaden Daniels. The last thing I honestly had was the rankings of defense. Last season, the Commanders are good against the pass. They ranked 3rd in passing yards allowed, only 189. So we'll see how that transpires to this year. But I think another thing as well is that they were the 3rd worst ranked team against the run. The Giants are 27th. The Giants are ranked 8th against the pass in yards last year. The big thing was against the run. Both teams struggle against the run, so we'll see how they defend against the run game. But regardless, I'm excited for both of these defenses to battle it out. Both teams allowed 18 touchdowns last year. I believe that was from the run game. But yeah, I mean, like I said, you got to contain Jaden Daniels, and I think that's what Abdul Carter's, mission is to make sure Jaden Daniels doesn't get set free and get some sacks on this against this offensive line. The Giants' points per game allowed was 24.4. The Commanders was exactly 23. The red zone defense is what I point out a lot when I look at these stats. Giants are ranked 12th. Commanders are ranked 22nd. If you're in the red zone, you have to score against the Commanders, put up some sort of points. Don't be afraid to be aggressive this season and run the football. Go for it on 4th down. And then finally, on 3rd down, the Giants were ranked 19th, and the Commanders were ranked 15th. But like I said, leave a like on this video. Let me know if you guys think the Giants have a chance this season. And if they have a chance at week 1, leave a like for sure. If you like the video, I feel like you think the Giants are going to win, but leave a comment. Let me know your score predictions of this game as well, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.